Join us on the journey to discover the riddle of steel.
Courage, truth, honor, fidelity, discipline, hospitality, self-reliance, industriousness, perseverance. Tier 1 Viking Wear, veteran owned and operated. Like us on Facebook and go to tier1vikingwear.com for more information. Tier 1 Viking Wear, where the Viking soul lives on.
What's up, folks? Chris Jacchio here with the Volsung group. We're gonna do a little product review today. First of all, I want to do some housekeeping. Our sponsors are Tier 1 Viking Wear. You can check them out at www.tier1vikingwear.com. They have great apparel, and it's all military-inspired apparel with a Viking soul. You'll find shirts like this, as well as some Velcro patches, all kinds of cool stuff.
Go to tier1vikingwear.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram. Don't just be strong, be Viking strong.
What we got today is a product review on a knife. This is called the SE Junglas. The Junglas is named after the Colombian Special Forces. It's spelled Junglas, pronounced Junglas. Being Viking inclined, I keep wanting to call it the Junglas because J's are Y's, but we're not going to do that. We're going to keep it legit. As you can see, this is the FDE flat dark earth version of the Junglas. It's a good size knife. So we're going to go over some specs real quick. The overall length of this knife is 16.5 inches. So that's a big knife. Even by Crocodile Dundee standards. Something that when I look at this knife, I think chopping, shelter building, something that I need the heft for. The cutting edge length is 9 3/4 inches, so again, good bit of size. The overall blade length is 10.38 inches. Blade width, that's a 2-inch width blade. We're going to test whether or not that's going to be a good thing or not here in a little bit. The weight is 23 ounces. Now, consider that's over a pound. When you pick this knife up, you know you have over a pound in your hand. I can tell you right now, and that's something that I like personally. It's made of 1095 carbon steel, and a good friend of mine, Jeff Crowner, who owns Jeff Crowner Knives, phenomenal knife maker himself, he referred to this as spring steel on steroids. So if he's saying it's good stuff, then I say it's good stuff. Again, we'll find out. It's also got a removable micarta handles. You can see that there's hex nuts that you can take out if you needed to, for whatever reason. Another thing that I like about that is look at that full tang right through the handles. There's no questioning that goes all the way through there. You've got a hole for a lanyard, just in case you're worried about losing it. The sheath itself is Kydex. One thing that kind of threw me off about this is when I ordered this knife, I ordered it in flat dark earth, so I kind of expected the sheath to be flat dark earth as well. Evidently they all come in black, which is not a real big deal because I don't mind painting a pattern on it or camo, whatever, but it just kind of threw me off a little bit. It's MOLLE compatible, as you can see. It's very well made, without a doubt. Plenty of holes if you want to use paracord to latch to something. It's also got a little bit of a cover there for your pommel, so if you wanted to really secure it in there, you can do so. Another neat thing about it is a lot of people I've seen refer to this as a locking mechanism, and I'm not going to refer to it as that. I'm going to show you why. See the screw right here? When it's all the way down, you've got easy deployment of the blade. When you pull it up like this is where people say it's locked. I found that it's not locked. Okay, you can still pull that out, but it's got a lot more friction on it. But it's nice to have if it's in your kit and it's getting bounced around and you just want to feel a little bit more secure about it being in there. Down, I can pull it out easy. Up, takes a little more work, but like I said, you can still do it. So that's the intro to the knife. We're going to put it to the test and see what it's capable of. So. All right, folks, welcome back. Like I said, when I pick this knife up and I look at it, I think shelter building, you know, and part of that is, you know, finding the right material to build you a shelter. And I found this fell tree a little bit ago, and I thought I'd put this to the test and clean off some of these twigs, you know, if I were to use part of this to build a shelter. So let's just see how it does doing that. We'll start here at the bottom, and obviously it's the weight of this knife really makes this job easy. I'm not having to put much effort into this. Like I said, it's over a pound. Taking several branches off at a time, you know. Simple enough. Oh, this is too much for too much of a stick for a shelter. So let's go ahead and cut this and see how it does. This is probably 1.5 inches in diameter. You know, it's hasn't been felled too long. It's still pretty green. So let's see what it can do here. Yeah. Decent work. Still minimal effort. The weight of the knife is really showing its purpose here. You know. So let's give it another crack here. You can definitely tell this wood's green. Probably a little thicker down there. But again, good solid chopping. This is a chopping blade. I'll tell you that much. It's a, you know, it's what it's good for. I've seen a couple different people use this to baton through stuff. We're gonna try that here in a minute. I've also heard some negative reviews about the knife. People saying it breaks. You know, the blade itself is breakable. It's a pretty thick blade. If you look at it, and it is a very high carbon steel, which I forgot to mention earlier. You know, a lot of people might look at that as a negative because high carbon steel does tend to rust quicker. But if you're serious about your blades, you take care of it, sharpen it regularly, you know, use a light coat of oil, you're not going to have a problem. You know, if you leave it in a moist, wet, damp environment and don't touch it for a while, it's going to rust, metal rust. So that's going to happen. But anyway, as far as breaking the blade goes, you know, obviously it's happened a few times, but one of the things I like about Essie is they give you a lifetime warranty, and they're real good about backing it. Everybody that I've talked to that said, hey, I had a problem with a knife, they're like, no questions asked, send it back to us, we'll send you a replacement, whatever. So made in the USA, good company. That's good stuff right there. So let's see what else we can do with it. Back again. What we're going to try to do here is I'm going to try to get this knife stuck in this old rotted stump that looks like somebody already tried to split and wasn't successful with. I've heard a guy say that he batoned this knife, not this particular knife, but the knife, into a stump like this and got it stuck, and he looked at the knife looking down, and he could actually see a bend in the blade, and when he pulled it out, it was perfectly straight again. So I didn't actually see that happen, but interesting enough. Let's see what happens if we baton it in here a little bit. So I don't think this is regular wood. I'm gonna be honest with you. I fully expected this blade to get stuck in here. You saw the problem I had when I struck it the first few times, getting a good bite in it. That's impressive. Definitely passed that test. All right, we're talking about this blade bending, and like I said, some people say it would break. I've got it locked in here pretty good now, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull on it and see what happens. So obviously you can see it's got some give, which is good. I like seeing that. You know, it's definitely springy. So if you're trying to do any more than that with this knife, you're trying to break it. So I really don't think it's a fault of the knife. You know, if you're trying to pry your car door open with it, you're asking for trouble. But that's good right there. I'm sold. That's not breaking with a normal to, you know, maybe slightly abnormal use. So passes that test. We've put the Junglas to the test with a lot of the stuff that it's supposed to do. You know, sometimes you've got to use a knife as a tool or a weapon, you know, which it wasn't designed to be. So we're going to see how it works out in that arena. The Volsung group is heavily influenced by a lot of the Filipino martial arts. You know, some of our combatives instructors train in CMOC, and you know, there's a lot of blade work in that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring one of our combative instructors, Chris Shuttlesworth, in here, and we're going to let him hold the blade and move around with it a little bit and just give his opinion. In my opinion, it wouldn't be the go-to blade for a combat situation, but if it's all you've got, it's going to be your go-to blade in a combat situation. So what do you think, Chris?
Yeah, definitely. The first thing you notice about this blade is how heavy it is. I have a K-bar similar to this. This is much larger than the K-bar. The BK9 is what I have. Same type application knife, and this is definitely much bigger and heavier than that knife. It's got good grip. I like it. You don't have to worry about your hand slipping on it and getting cut. The way that it's made, the very good guard there for your fingers. It fits my hand well. I don't know if it's the first one I would go to, but then the Bowie type knife is not my go-to weapon. It is for some. It's not mine, but it's definitely usable. You could get in close. You could actually stay back, and you got good reach with it because it's good and long. But you can still work it in close. Got a good edge. After all that beating, it's still shaving the hair off of my arm pretty good. Now I get to walk around with a bald spot. Yeah, I like this blade a lot. You could definitely still got good, definitely stab with it. You could work all the grips with it. Definitely, I'm a fan. I like it, especially the way that it. He was bending it in that log just then. That was impressive. That's it's definitely made out of good steel, made in the USA. I like it. I'm sold.
Awesome.
I'd like to have one.
Let's play around a little bit. See, this is one of the rattan sticks that we train with, you know, and it's a placebo for a blade. And this first of all, it's completely dangerous. We're not wearing safety glasses. Don't try this at home, you know. But I'm gonna swing this at him, and he's gonna meet it with the blade. And let's just see what happens. Like I said, this is just a hollow. I'm not expecting this to win by any means, but you know, hey, it's showbiz, right?
All right, just meet it once. Yeah. Or don't. We'll cut that out.
All right, so if this were a person, you can see that was I didn't swing it very hard. I don't think he did either. But you can see where it went straight through half the stick and splintered it. So safe to say, if that were a person's arm and it was swinging it full on, yeah, it'd be a bad day. So, well, awesome.
I'm back there playing and you're talking.
The Junglas, you know, I got to be honest with you. I looked for something negative to say about it, because I mean, if I'm going to do a review on a product, You know, even with my limited knowledge, you know, I want to learn something about the product, you know, that I can use, good or bad, so I know how to use it and how not to use it. And we've been playing with this knife for a lot longer than this video has gone on. We've done a lot of other stuff, probably some stuff that we shouldn't have. That's not going to be on the video. Maybe we'll do another version, maybe a blooper reel at some point. But and I got to tell you, it's held up. It's done everything I wanted it to, and I can't say anything negative about the blade itself. As far as SE goes, the company's got a great reputation. They stand behind their product. For a knife under $200, I'm not sure you're going to get much better than this. Like I said at the beginning of the video, the sheath, I'd have liked for it to be the, you know, if I buy a flat dark earth knife, I'd like the sheath to match it. It's just kind of weird for me, but you know, that's me being nitpicky. As far as the quality of knife goes, I'm going to give it straight A's. So this is our first real product review and our own like second video cast. So I hope it's been entertaining. I hope it's been somewhat insightful. We're gonna get a lot better at this as time goes on, and look forward to talking about a lot more cool stuff and bringing y'all some education, information, and just having a good time doing it. So till next time, it's the Volsung Group signing out. Till Valhalla.